papers around the world with our international press reviewer, Nicholas Rushworth. He joins me now. Hello, Nicholas.
Hello, Lorna.
Right, so the spotlight's on Rupert Murdoch today, perhaps as it has been for the last week, really, who he and his son have agreed to testify in that hearing on the phone hacking scandal in the UK. And the FBI is also opening a probe, as we've heard in the bulletin, as to see whether News International hacked into the phones of 9/11 victims. So how's that all gone down in the US press?
Well, the Wall Street Journal, in its Europe edition, is saying that life couldn't be better. Murdoch saying News Corp will recover. That very upbeat statement to the paper is perhaps in a slight counter to the bad press he's actually getting at the moment. In the front page there, he's asked if he was aggravated by all this negative coverage. And he says, well, I am getting annoyed, but I will get over it. Rupert Murdoch, 80, of course. He's also quoted as saying News Corp has handled this crisis extremely well and it's made just minor mistakes. One source of help, in fact, could come from his very own Soaraway Sun, the tabloid in the UK, which is the top seller in Britain. And there's an article there by Ulrika Johnson, who became a News of the World columnist on the back of an affair with one-time England football coach Sven-Göran Eriksson. She says that phone hacking was carried out by other papers and, quote-unquote, the News of the World did an awful lot of good. So that's the upbeat side of events for the Murdoch empire.
Ms. Johnson on his side, then.
There's a war of the red tops, the tabloids in the UK. The Daily Mirror, not Murdoch, is reporting Rupert and James were forced to cave in to appear at the parliamentary hearing. They were warned they could be banged up in a House of Commons cell by the House of Commons Sergeant-at-Arms. Concerning that FBI investigation in the US into the possible hacking of 9/11 victims, there is a quote in the Daily Mirror from Congressman Pete King saying the 9/11 families have suffered egregiously but remain vulnerable against such unjustifiable parasitic strains. So
Okay.
that's a slam to Murdoch there.
Yeah, very strong words there. And of course, the Mirror, which potentially broke that story about which the FBI is now going to investigate. But let's stay with the United States now, because 14 trillion and more in debt needs increasing, and no deal in sight yet in Washington.
No deal and lots of frustration. The headline on the front page of the today's international paper is saying, time and tempers are short on debt talk. The US President Barack Obama is reported to become agitated, saying enough is enough with the positioning and posturing. It quotes a Republican saying negotiations with the White House are like dealing with Jell-O. A Democrat is quoted as saying those in favor of the right-wing agenda at this point are playing Russian roulette with the economy. The letters pages, meanwhile, suggest a compromise should not be seen as a weakness. James Musso wrote in from Lake Zurich in Illinois and asked, well, when did compromise become a dirty word? And he said, we're not like North Korea and Iran. We should be getting on with this in the United States. Okay. Compromise far off in the cartoon in the International Herald Tribune showing Barack Obama. He puts up his budget proposals in this cartoon, and the rejection is a no way. And then second round, he says, OK, I'll give you whatever you want, and he's told, well, that's out of the question.
Let's move just finally back to here in Europe. Italian politics also reeling from dealing with debt and indeed the market pressures on its economy.
Silvio Berlusconi's brother's paper, Il Giornale, is looking on the €70 billion austerity package voted in the Senate yesterday. It will go through the House this afternoon, but there'll be a vote in the lower house this afternoon. And the paper is looking at the finance minister, Giulio Tremonti, there we can see in the picture. And you can see the headline there, if we don't move forward together on this, we will end up sinking to the ocean floor like the Titanic. And the La Repubblica, the centre-left paper in Rome, is saying that, well, it's broader now in politics. The kingmaker, Umberto Bossi, is kind of saying, well, I'm not excluding a new government, and that's a raspberry for Berlusconi, says the paper.
A raspberry indeed. OK, well, thanks very much indeed, Nicholas, for that look at a cross-section of the papers across the world this Friday. Well, let's get a